Right before a storm hits, and I mean the moment before, your backyard goes wrong. Not quiet, wrong. The birds that were at your feeder 60 seconds ago are gone. The squirrels have vanished. The yard that was alive and buzzing with movement just a heartbeat ago looks like someone flipped a switch and turned everything off. No wings, no chirping, no movement at all. And if you've ever stood at your kitchen window and watched that happen, that sudden eerie stillness, you probably thought the same thing most people think. The storm is coming. The birds went to find shelter. Makes sense, right? But here's what nobody ever tells you. What your birds just did in those few seconds before that storm arrived, the decision they made, the system they activated, the incredible biological alarm that fired inside their tiny bodies is one of the most astonishing things happening in nature today. And it is happening right outside your window every single time the sky turns dark. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm going to show you about what your birds experience during a storm, what their bodies go through, what they sense that you never could, and what happens to them in the hours after the storm passes, is going to make you look at your backyard in a way you never have before. And if you are not subscribed to this channel yet, do that right now. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because this is what we do here every single week. We pull back the curtain on the hidden life of your backyard birds, the secret world happening just outside your window that most people walk right past. You found this channel for a reason. Stay with us. Let's go back to that moment, the moment before the storm. Your birds knew. Not because they looked at the sky, not because they checked a weather app. They felt it deep inside their bodies in a system so precise and so sensitive that it makes your best weather technology look like a guess. Your birds felt the storm coming before a single cloud appeared over your neighborhood. Here is how. Birds have what scientists call infrasound detection. They can hear sounds at frequencies so low that the human ear cannot detect them at all. Storm systems, big ones, the kind that rattle your windows and knock out your power, generate infrasound waves hundreds of miles before they arrive. Hundreds of miles. Your birds heard that storm coming when it was still 2 states away. Think about what that means. While you were drinking your morning coffee with no idea a storm was building, your chickadees already knew. Your cardinals already knew. The little house sparrows fighting over the feeder, they already knew. And they were already preparing. Scientists discovered this in a study that genuinely shocked the research community. A group of golden-winged warblers in Tennessee detected an incoming tornado system and abandoned their nesting area a full day before the storm arrived. They flew hundreds of miles south to escape it. Then, when the storm passed, they turned around and flew all the way back. A bird the size of your thumb detected a natural disaster before any radar system on Earth had flagged it as a serious threat. Your backyard went quiet because your birds heard something you never could. Let that sink in for a second. Now, the storm is here. Rain is hammering your yard. Wind is bending your tree sideways. The feeder is swinging, and your birds, where are they right now? Most people assume they are just hiding somewhere, huddled under a bush, waiting it out. Safe enough. A little wet maybe, no big deal. But what is actually happening to a small bird caught in a serious storm is one of the most physically brutal survival situations in the natural world. Here's what happens. A bird's body heat is everything. A chickadee, that tiny bird you love, the one that weighs less than 2 pennies, maintains a core body temperature of around 108 degrees Fahrenheit. That is its normal. That is what keeps it alive. And when cold rain soaks through its feathers, when wind strips the warm air layer from its body, that temperature starts to drop fast. A small bird in a serious storm is not just uncomfortable, it is fighting for its life. And here's what it does, what evolution has spent millions of years perfecting. It fluffs up. You've seen this. A bird sitting in the rain, feathers puffed out like a little ball. Most people think it looks cute. What it actually is a bird running an emergency heating system. When a bird fluffs its feathers, it traps thousands of tiny pockets of warm air against its skin. It is wearing a self-inflating down jacket that it built from its own body. The engineering involved in a single bird feather, the way the barbs interlock, the way they shed water while trapping heat, is so sophisticated that aerospace engineers have studied it for insulation technology. Your backyard bird is wearing better rain gear than you own. But staying warm is only half the battle, because here is what a storm actually costs a small bird, and this number is going to shock you. On a normal winter day, a chickadee burns through roughly 10% of its body weight in fat just to survive the night. 10% every single night just to wake up the next morning. Now, add a storm. Add cold driving rain, high winds, and dropping temperatures. That energy burn can double or even triple. A bird riding out a bad storm in your yard might be burning through its entire fat reserve, every calorie it stored in a single night. If it doesn't find food the moment that storm breaks, it might not make it to the next one. This is why the scene at your feeder the morning after a storm is unlike any other morning of the year. You've seen it, haven't you? That frantic, almost desperate energy when the birds come back after a storm. They're not being greedy. They are not just hungry. They are replacing the fuel that kept them alive through the night. Every seed they grab at your feeder the morning after a storm is not a snack. It is survival. You didn't just fill a feeder. You saved a life. And I need you to really hear that, because a lot of people wonder if feeders actually matter, if what they do in their backyard actually makes a difference to wild birds. The answer, especially in storm season, is yes. Absolutely and completely yes. A well-stocked feeder in bad weather is the difference between life and death for the birds in your yard. What you do matters more than you know. If this channel has ever made you feel that, subscribe right now if you haven't already, and hit the like button on this video. It helps us reach more people who love their backyard birds the way you do. It takes 1 second, and it means everything to this community. Now, I want to show you something that almost nobody knows, something that happens during a storm that is so extraordinary, so far beyond what most people imagine when they think about birds in bad weather, that when researchers first documented it, they could barely believe what they were seeing. Some birds don't hide from storms. Some birds use them. Chimney swifts, those small boomerang-shaped birds you might have seen darting through the sky at dusk, are built for flight the way a Formula One car is built for speed. Everything about them is aerodynamic. They eat in the air, they drink in the air, they even sleep in the air, catching micro-naps while gliding. And when a major storm system rolls through, when the winds that would ground most birds are screaming across the sky, chimney swifts ride the edges of that storm like surfers riding a wave. They use the pressure differentials, the updrafts, the swirling wind currents created by the storm system to fly faster and farther than they ever could in calm air. While your other birds are tucked into your holly bush surviving the night, the swifts are out there in the dark, riding the storm. Nature doesn't fear the storm. Nature uses it. And now, the moment I promised you at the beginning, the thing that is going to change how you look at your backyard forever. After every major storm system passes through the United States, every single one, something happens in the sky above your neighborhood that is almost impossible to comprehend in scale. The songbirds that were grounded by the storm, the migrants that were forced down into trees and backyards and fields across hundreds of miles, they all take off at once. Scientists call it a fallout. Birders call it magic. Millions of birds, all launching into the sky within the same narrow window of clearing weather, creating a mass movement so large it shows up on National Weather Service radar as a living, breathing bloom spreading across the entire eastern half of the country. Radar operators who don't know what they're looking at sometimes call in reports thinking equipment is malfunctioning. What they're seeing is life. Hundreds of millions of birds resuming a journey that a storm temporarily paused. Right above your house, right above your feeder, right above the yard where you stood this morning watching a chickadee eat a sunflower seed. The sky above your neighborhood, right now, right after every storm, is one of the greatest wildlife events on planet Earth. So the next time the sky goes dark and your yard goes quiet and that eerie stillness falls over everything, don't just watch the storm. Watch your birds first. Because in the seconds before the first raindrop falls, they are already communicating something ancient and extraordinary. They heard what you couldn't hear. They felt what you couldn't feel. And when the storm breaks and they come flooding back to your feeder in that frantic, beautiful, desperate rush, they're not just hungry birds at a feeder. They are survivors, every single one of them. And you, with your filled feeder and your warm yard and your kitchen window, you are part of how they survive. I want to know something from you. Leave your answer in the comments right now, and I promise I read every single one. After a bad storm, have you ever noticed your birds acting differently at the feeder? More frantic, new species showing up that you'd never seen before? Tell me what you saw. because what you witness might have been something far more extraordinary than you realized. Your yard holds more secrets than you know.